Liverpool have serious problems. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. £450 million spent last summer. Liverpool brought in the best playmaker in the Bundesliga. One of the most dangerous strikers in the Premier League.
Oy, oy, oy.
The most exciting young forward from Germany. Two fullbacks built for modern football with endless energy up and down the pitch.
Diaz.
And even the future defensive star of Italian football.
Then Sampdoria, then Parma, now Liverpool.
On paper, it looked like the beginning of a new golden era. Arne Slot had just won the Premier League in his first season.
Liverpool are the champions of the Premier League. Liverpool are back on their perch.
Liverpool finished top of the Champions League phase.
If he wins that header, oh my God, this lunatic could score.
The squad looked deeper, faster, and more creative than ever. Everything pointed towards a dynasty in the making. But football doesn't care about paper, because this season has exposed something worrying. Arne Slot has not managed this project well, and if Liverpool are in this crisis today, there is one man at the centre of it, Arne Slot. Liverpool have lost 5 Premier League matches thanks to goals scored in the 99th minute or later. 5. That is the most by any team in a single season in the history of the competition. That's not bad luck, that's trauma. And when you spend £450 million, results like this are simply unacceptable. If Aston Villa win their next match against Chelsea, Liverpool will be 6 points away from a Champions League spot. After spending £500 million, they might not even qualify for Europe's biggest competition. Yes, injuries have played a role. Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, Connor Bradley and Giovanni Leone have all missed matches. But when you spend that kind of money, injuries cannot be the excuse. Slot chose the project. He approved the signings. He spent every pound. The downfall of Arne Slot has been brutal. But the problem isn't just the manager. Liverpool as a club need to make serious changes if they want to recover their direction. And we're about to explain why. Let's talk about Liverpool's first major problem. And surprisingly, it's their attack.
Same old story. Recently, we are picking up points because we scored many times from set pieces. But what did not change in the last 5, 6, 7 games is that we struggle and find it very hard to score from the open play chances that we do create. Not as much as I would like from all the ball possession we have, but enough and far more than the other team. But end result, we score 1. And they score 2, and indeed another time in extra time. So it sums up our season again in this game as well.
Arne Slot recently looked at the number of goals Liverpool's forwards have scored in the Premier League this season and said something very simple. It's not enough. If that message was delivered privately to his players, they tried to respond immediately. Hugo Ekitike scored after just 5 minutes against West Ham. Cody Gakpo finally ended his scoring drought. And Mohamed Salah, who hadn't scored in the Premier League since match day 10, finally found the net again. Mo Salah scored his first Premier League goal since November 1st, 122 days without scoring. Considering that none of Liverpool's attackers had scored in the previous 3 league matches, it felt like a step in the right direction. But the bigger picture still proves Slot's point. Liverpool simply don't score enough goals. Last summer, the club spent nearly £200 million on attacking players. Yet the production from the front line has dropped dramatically. After 29 league matches last season, Liverpool's 6 main attackers had scored 51 goals.
Jota, lovely layoff to his left. Diaz in the box, taking on the defender, shoots! Oh!
This season, just 27.
I mean, they are missing Trent Alexander-Arnold, and so is Salah is missing Trent. Everyone criticised Trent about his defending, but what Liverpool did is they dominated the possession a lot. And Trent's passing, we said it on there many times, he's one of the best passers of the ball ever. And at the moment, everyone would say, but he'd get back into his shape. Konate's not in good form, so you obviously Konate last season was fantastic. You look at left back Kirkez. It's not the Kirkez that we saw at Bournemouth, but sometimes you're going to a bigger football club like Liverpool. It's going to be hard. He's got to defend.
Barely half, and the breakdown of who has scored makes the problem even clearer. In the 2024-25 season, after the first 28 league matches, the numbers were Mohamed Salah 25, Luis Diaz 9, Cody Gakpo 8, Diogo Jota 5, Darwin Núñez 4, and Federico Chiesa 0. This season the numbers look very different. Hugo Ekitike 11, Cody Gakpo 6, Mohamed Salah 5, Federico Chiesa 2, Alexander Isak 2, and Rio Ngumoha 1. You could also include Florian Wirtz in the equation, since he was one of the major attacking signings last summer and has often played as a number .10 or even drifting wide. Including him brings Liverpool's attacking contribution this season to around 30 goals, but the biggest drop can be traced back to two players, Mohamed Salah and Alexander Isak.
We probably need to just clean up this sort of, if it is to be his final chapter or this latest chapter of this story. Jamie, I think there was a lot of talk in here in the studio last week about that being his final act. And now that he came on in that after 26 minutes and made such an impression in the game, are we going to see Mo Salah back for the rest of the season?
I don't see Mo Salah playing for Liverpool next season.
Even by Salah's incredible standards, last season was extraordinary. He was scoring at a rate of 1 goal every 99 minutes while also delivering 17 assists, carrying Liverpool's attack for most of the campaign and eventually winning the PFA Player of the Year award. Now, however, his numbers have collapsed. This is Salah's lowest goal output by early March since he arrived at Anfield. He went 4 months without scoring in the Premier League, a drought interrupted by time on the bench in the Africa Cup of Nations. Yes, he finally scored against the team sitting at the bottom of the table, but the uncomfortable truth remains. Salah doesn't look like the same player. His decision-making's slower, his finishing less precise. And even in the match against Wolves, despite scoring, he looked far from the ruthless version of himself we saw last season. And when your biggest star stops delivering, the entire attack begins to collapse. Then there is Isak.
Alexander Isak is officially a Liverpool player. Alexander Isak is Liverpool's new number 9. They've confirmed it officially now. He has signed in a British record transfer of £125 million, and he has signed a 6-year contract with Liverpool.
After 28 Premier League matches with Newcastle last season, the Swedish striker had scored 19 goals in the competition, one every 109 minutes, almost operating at the same ruthless level as Salah.
In terms of being a 90-minute threat, being able to drift out wide, being able to take players on, being more of a playmaker, being able to hold up the ball at a high level against these guys, I don't think there's a striker in the league that does it at the level Isak's doing right now.
At Liverpool, some believed that with Salah getting older, Isak would naturally become the team's main goal scorer, but his fragile physical condition has prevented that from happening. A leg fracture explains much of his absence, suffered just a split second after scoring only his second Premier League goal for Liverpool. Those 2 goals have come in 519 minutes. Salah, by comparison, averages 1 every 429 minutes. Both players may also be suffering from Liverpool's lack of penalties this season, something Arne Slot himself has acknowledged as a factor. Last season, Liverpool won 9 penalties, the joint highest total in the league. This season they have received just 2, the joint lowest number, and Dominic Szoboszlai even missed one of them. But the numbers for both Salah and Isak have dropped in other areas as well. 12 months ago, they were outperforming their expected goals by 4.77 and 3.29 respectively. Now Salah is only outperforming his expected goals by 2.78, and his expected goals per 90 minutes has been cut in half from 0.73 to 0.36. His number of shots has dropped too, though not dramatically. For Isak, who has only been semi-fit during parts of his Liverpool spell, the drop is also visible. His shots per 90 have fallen from 2.97 to 2.60, and his expected goals from 0.68 to 0.48. The average quality of his chances simply isn't as high as it used to be. Across the rest of the attack, the evidence is mixed. Federico Chiesa and Rio Ngumoha have actually outperformed their expected goals and boast impressive goals per minute ratios but both have rarely started league matches. Ekitike and Gakpo have underperformed relative to their expected goals, although in fairness to the French striker, he probably wasn't expected to be Liverpool's top scorer in his first season, yet he currently is. By the final whistle last Saturday, only 3 players in the entire Premier League had scored more goals than him. Meanwhile, just a year ago, Gakpo and Luis Diaz were considered extremely efficient finishers, both scoring more goals than their expected goals suggested. Diogo Jota, before his tragic passing, and Darwin Núñez, as expected, were the ones finishing below their statistical projections. A year ago, Liverpool's attacking numbers goals and expected goals were comfortably the best in the league. Now they sit around 4th place in most offensive metrics. Part of that drop comes from chance creation. Liverpool's 6 forwards have produced just 15 assists in the Premier League this season. For context, last year Salah alone delivered 17 assists, while the rest of the forward line combined for another 11. The transition of Salah from unstoppable to unexpectedly ineffective has happened much faster than anyone expected. In fact, Liverpool scored 5 goals last Saturday without him scoring or assisting. Injuries and Alexander Isak's lack of efficiency have also played a major role in this decline. Hugo Ekitike may escape much of the criticism, but Arne Slot's verdict probably still stands. 27 goals from your forwards simply isn't enough. Speaking of departures, Luis Diaz's exit continues to echo through Liverpool's season. Contract negotiations reached a dead end, shaped by the club's strict sustainability model and disciplined wage structure. Arne Slot addressed the situation directly. You always miss good players. He was so important for us last season. Luis Diaz is another example of how this club is run. If this club receives an offer like that for a 28-year-old player, then because it is built on sustainability, the club chooses to sell. And in that sense, we are an exception in the Premier League. The statistics already showed part of Diaz's importance, 19 goals and 15 assists, but his real value went beyond the numbers. His explosive dribbling, relentless pressing and ability to inject chaos into defensive lines created moments that destabilised opponents in ways data is only beginning to measure. And that is exactly what Liverpool's attack has been missing this season. Volatility, unpredictability, and a player capable of breaking open tight matches out of nowhere. Liverpool's season, from start to finish, has been pure chaos. Arne Slot's side keep conceding first in nearly every match that actually matters, and when a team that's already low on confidence gets punched in the face that early, everything just unravels. They conceded the opening goal in 10 of their first 12 matches at the start of the season. This Liverpool side can't take control of games, can't settle, can't impose themselves. And unlike last season, they're not even capable of fighting back. Last year, Slot's Liverpool were known for big comebacks, tactical tweaks that flipped matches, proper grit, real mental strength. Now, they've only won 1 match after conceding first, away at Eintracht Frankfurt. Everything else has been this long, painful slide where every early goal feels like a death sentence. Virgil van Dijk is in one of the worst spells of his career. The natural leader, the commanding presence. Now he looks frustrated, late to challenges, distracted. But Konate is an even bigger problem. His season has been a highlight reel of mistakes. The penalty versus Man City.
Oh, it's broken for Doku. Chance now for Doku. Oh, he takes a tumble. Looked like a penalty.
The free header he gifted Haaland. The dodgy displays versus Palace.
This corner comes in then, and it is Marquez in there.
Galatasaray. Brentford.
Big moment this in the game. Kevin Schade.
PSV.
Well, here he's gone on his own, and it nearly turns into a brilliant.
And now Wolves. Slot doesn't fully trust Joe Gomez, and after that own goal, even less Leone is out for the season, and Konate keeps producing errors that simply can't happen at this level. This isn't a dip. This is a pattern, and it's destroying Liverpool's entire defensive structure. Piece by piece, the picture becomes painfully clear. If your defence concedes first almost every match, if your leaders are out of form, if your centre-backs collapse under pressure, if your left-back can't defend his channel, Arne Slot right now has a team that simply doesn't finish their chances, and even worse, they don't know how to start games or close them out. For a club the size of Liverpool, that's seriously worrying. Slot himself admitted it not long ago. Recently we've picked up points from set pieces, but what hasn't changed in the last 5, 6 or 7 matches is that we really struggle to score from the chances we create. And that lack of ruthlessness has punished Liverpool again and again this season, especially in the dying minutes of matches. Just look at the pattern. On September 27th at Crystal Palace, Liverpool's old nemesis Ismaila Sarr popped up in the 97th minute to nick a 2-1 win. and end Slot's perfect start to the season. Then on the 4th of October at Chelsea, substitute Estevao introduced himself to world football with a 95th minute winner, smashing Liverpool's early title hopes. On 24th January away at Bournemouth, Liverpool fought back well, but in the 95th minute, Amin Adli pounced on the chaos in the box to seal a brutal 3-2 defeat. And on 8th February at Manchester City, Erling Haaland buried a 93rd minute penalty to hand City a 2-1 win and keep them alive in the title race. And it's not just losses either. Liverpool have also thrown away points late on. Ao Tanaka equalised in the 96th minute for Leeds in a mad 3-3 draw back in December, while Harrison Reed smashed in a beauty for Fulham in stoppage time to rescue a 2-2 draw in early January. Even Manchester United got in on it. In October, Harry Maguire rose up in the 84th minute to head in the winner and hand United a 2-1 victory. The numbers are honestly brutal. Liverpool have conceded 14 goals in the final 15 minutes of matches this season, the second highest total in the Premier League, only behind Newcastle.
Yeah, it is concerning, but it's the last 2 games are not concerning. I think Liverpool's full 9 games this season have been very concerning, and I was worried about Liverpool very early on, and I expressed that to the manager on the side of the pitch.
Wow.
Against Bournemouth in the first league game, where Liverpool ends up winning 4-2. I don't feel like I'm watching a top team. Liverpool aren't playing football at the moment, they're playing basketball. And it's just end to end, and I don't think top teams play like that.
That tells you 2 very clear things. First, Slot didn't build a properly balanced squad. His planning was messy from the start. And second, some of his decisions during matches just haven't worked. One of the biggest criticisms all season has been his substitutions. Slot tends to wait ages before making changes, reacting far too late when the match has already started slipping away.
Why they have been so inconsistent. Their inability to complete passes with precision in the final third. Their inability to move ahead of the ball. And once they get into tight areas, that those quick combinations actually amount to anything productive. Their inability to make the correct decision when they're isolated in 1v1 situations in wide areas. Take somebody on, please. Somebody get the ball and get after a defender.
And when you put all of that together, the picture becomes pretty clear. Slot hasn't managed the problems of a giant like Liverpool properly. And when a club this big starts losing to the bottom team in the league, that's not just a bad day at the office. That's a massive red flag. Liverpool are in real trouble right now, and more people are starting to wonder if Arne Slot is actually the right man to fix it.